everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Imaginary Boys podcast. I am Mr. Habanero. This is, over here, Mr. Lettuce. We are here to hang out and
Hey.
discuss whatever we feel like. Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, what's up? just casual, smooth lettuce today.
Yeah. Definitely, we're taking some steps back and deciding that today's going to be hopefully a pretty relaxing episode. We're kind of
Hey.
yeah. We were kind of stressed out last week, and thus we didn't really get to produce something for you guys, which I personally apologize for. I'm sorry about that. But today,
It's okay, man. Hey.
Hey.
Have a Kit Kat.
Hey.
Have a Kit Kat. Hey.
Hey, you go smack the jukebox, make it work.
Yeah.
So, how are you doing today, Les? Tell me how you doing, how you feeling. Let's kind of open this up a little bit.
I'm tired. It's going to be a rough rest of the month.
Yeah, you were kind of telling me that for your particular business, holiday season gets pretty wild and wacky for you guys. So
it's the lead up that gets wacky for me, and then everybody else has to deal with it for the next 2 months. But
and then you just kind of get to have like smooth sailing once your site is done.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Once I fulfill all the hey, can you get this done before we start this requests.
Nice.
That all come in at the same time.
Yeah. I slept in late, everybody. I am a jerkwad who decides to have an alarm that sometimes doesn't go off correctly. And so I got up late today. I mean,
do you actually have a for reals alarm, or do you use the alarm on your phone?
I use the alarm on my phone.
I have the same problem with my alarm on my phone. I'm actually seriously considering getting a for reals alarm.
I used to actually own an alarm clock, and I hated it. Because I had one growing up because my parents insisted, well, my father specifically insisted that I have one through high school. And I mean, I hated it. It felt like it was like annoying to control. And like sometimes like it wasn't even that loud and I would like sleep through it. But ever since I started just, once I got my proper cell phone and I had to like be responsible and I started using, an alarm on my phone, it felt like that it was like the phone was louder, like the alarm on the phone was louder. It was easier to manage and easier to control and stuff like that. What might need to happen actually is I might have to change the alarm tone on my phone, because what happens to me, and this might be why I'm like either like missing it or like sleeping through it, which could be a possibility, is sometimes my brain gets so used to hearing the same alarm over and over again that I like train myself to be, while asleep, able to like get up and turn my alarm off. So yeah, I've actually done that like multiple times before. And usually when I get to that point, I have to change the alarm tone so that it actually surprises me and it doesn't cause me to go into that same habit of like, oh, I know this sound, I'm going to stay asleep, and then turn it off while I'm still sleeping. So
I typically use music as my alarm tone. I should probably stop doing that.
I use a buzzer, like different kinds of loud buzzers.
Yeah, like I typically use music as my alarm. But I've noticed, like, even if I change the song, like, on a weekly basis, it's still, like, I don't ever think I hear the alarm.
Yeah, I think, like, I've definitely learned, I don't know if it's a normal thing, but sometimes, like, your brain just, like, gets used to hearing the same sound all the time. And, like, you have to, like, change it up. Once you realize that your brain is getting used to it, you change it up and it'll surprise you again, And that's what gets you up. And I think that's might be what happening, is because it's been a while since I've changed my alarm. So I think maybe, like, oh, that's what I use, like a straight up, like, Brant.
I was just wondering what that sound actually was.
It's like, oh, so that's what my alarm sounds like, the one that I've been using for so long to get me up.
No, I actually have a array of like Smashing Pumpkin songs that I try to
Oh,
wake
dude,
myself up with.
don't do that, man. Like, Smashing Pumpkin songs are just gonna put you to sleep, man. Oh
I
no.
mean, they've got some pretty good like the ones with like the heavy distortion intros.
Okay.
Like I switch between Silver
Bruh.
and like any other song that has like heavy drums or like a heavy distorted guitar intro.
Right. I was like about to say,
XYU.
do you get woken up by Zero?
No, I don't
No.
think no, Zero isn't actually one of the songs. Like I like if it's just the guitar, I don't think it works very well. It has to be like guitar and drum.
Right. Yeah, oh man.
The I Am One intro is pretty good, drum wise.
Which what?
The song I Am One.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
Well, I mean, it's drum. I think drum works better than guitar, but preferably it has like good guitar and drum.
Mm-hmm. You know, I like, because we're actually, it's funny that we're bringing this up again. Well, actually, not really. Like, actually, we kind of wanted to talk about music. This is actually,
hey, look, this was kind of a segue.
Yeah, it's almost like we planned this, but we didn't.
I mean, I did a little.
Okay, sneaky. I mean, I didn't at all. I was just like dead serious about talking about alarms. I thought we might actually go on a rant for a little bit about that, but but that's perfect.
No, I'm a motherfucking professional.
Yeah, so we were talking about music last week, and you know, we were talking about especially Smashing Pumpkins, because me and Lettuce are hardcore pumpkin heads. Probably Lettuce more so than I am, honestly.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I'd almost guarantee you.
But I do love the Pumpkins. I grew up with them, and I'm a big fan. And we were actually talking about some of our favorites, and I was kind of surprised. Like, we were discussing like some of our favorite songs and some of our least favorite ones, and I was surprised that you didn't like the song "Try, Try, Try," which is what you told me you didn't like that song, and I had to like go and re-listen to it. I looked it up on YouTube, and I saw that music video for the first time ever, by the way. I'd never seen the Try, Try, Try music video before, ever. So I
mean,
watched
it's beautifully shot.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. And the thing is too is when actually watching that music video and actually paying attention to the lyrics, I'm like, wow, Lettuce is right. This song is really depressing.
It's a dark piece of shit.
But I still like it. I still like that song.
Well, I don't hate it.
Yeah, well,
like, I didn't say I hated it. It's just the reason why Machina for me is less than Siamese Dream. Is because Machina is kind of like this. It's as a CD goes, it's a listening experience from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Try takes me out of it every time.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Like, I don't hate it. It's just I'm listening to Machina, and it just, the songs kind of flow, and it feels like one listening experience. Then, like, right in the middle of it, try hits.
Do you think it would have been better if they placed it on a different area of the album?
I think it would have been better as an Adore song.
Oh, so like a completely different album.
Yeah, if it had been on Adore, like the album before, like if Billy had written it, or like on the off chance he wrote it but shelved it.
Yeah, you think that might have been the case?
No, I don't think that's the case. But it, you know, had it been on Adore, it wouldn't have hurt. I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have been that bad.
Like, you don't think it would have stuck out like a sore thumb, whereas compared to like all the
it wouldn't have taken me out of the experience as much as it does.
Okay.
Like, I don't hate the song.
Yeah, you just think it's awkwardly placed in the album.
It's the song that's going to make that keeps Machina from being in my opinion, the best Pumpkins album.
Okay. So, for anybody also who doesn't also understand me when we were talking about this before. We were kind of saying like, "Oh, what's our favorite Pumpkins album of all time?" And always say Machina is my favorite or Machina. I'm used to calling it Machina, but I don't know how it's supposed to be presented because whenever I see the album name, I think of the term Deus Ex Machina just without the Deus Ex, so I just call it Machina.
Yeah.
Um, but it could be Machina, and I just don't know. But um,
I think Billy at one point you was calling it Machina.
okay, okay. Well, then
Um,
if that's canon lore, then I will accept it.
like because like if we're not talking in Latin, because
Right.
that's what Deus Ex Machina is.
Yeah.
It's Latin.
Hmm.
So if the title's in English and it's English spoken, it's Machina, the machine of gods.
Right. Which it's funny because the machine of gods is literally Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, that's what Deus Ex Machina means. Is the machines
it's
of God.
it's very weird to do that. It's like, oh, it's Machina, the machine of gods. It's like Deus Ex Machina. No.
Machina, the machines of God.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing? Um, but yeah, so Machina is my favorite Smashing Pumpkins album of all time. And I basically like every single song on it. But I mean, that's like saying like, oh yeah, this like perfect, diamond is like the best diamond in a box full of really nice diamonds, you know?
Yeah, no. Uh and when you said Machina, like I was like, that's the unusual one.
Yeah, I
Because
get the
everybody's like
impression.
because everybody's either is either on Siamese Dream or they're on Melancholy.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like most people that I talk to that
Actually,
have,
most people are on Melancholy. It's either
yeah,
Melancholy or Siamese Dream.
yeah, most people that I talk to when when I find out that they're pumpkin heads, they always go for, oh yeah, melancholy. It's the masterpiece, and I'm like, that's an opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's not a bad album by any stretch of the
not at
imagination,
all, not at all.
but the thing is like for me,
Uh huh.
I I like I like the album,
Yeah.
but then when you put Melancholy next to the Melancholy era B-sides,
Right. Right.
you're like, man, Melancholy could have been a much better album.
Yeah. Yeah. The B sides were really spectacular for that particular
Yeah,
album. They
the
were.
singles,
They stood
like
out.
Melancholy was a very big commercial success.
Hmm.
The singles all slapped. The problem is the stuff in between the singles
Hmm.
was kind of a mixed bag,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
there were some
Hmm.
gems hidden as B-sides.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem too, is because you actually, said one of the things which was that I thought was really interesting is that it was a commercial success, and there were like the great hits. And so, for anybody who doesn't know, and I say that like it's natural to me. I can't help it. It's something that I have no control over. It's just who I am as a person when it comes to music. When it comes to music, I am unintentionally a hipster. uh so like I'm not the kind of person.
Unintentionally.
I am unintentionally a hipster. I am. Because
We're
so
not
like what.
recording video because you don't see the world's biggest dick fingers.
Just call me Edward Penis Hands.
Yeah.
So when I say that, what it means, like why I say that is because I'm not the person who's like, oh yeah, I was listening to them before they were cool. Like I don't do that kind of thing. And I also like one of the things also that is considered to be like a non-hipster thing to do is like people like always, hipsters are supposed to be like, oh, well, I only listen to them when they're like unpopular. Like only the unpopular stuff is cool. And like when nobody knew them, that was when it was cool. For me personally, like I go against that hipster mentality in the sense that like I like it when bands get really big and popular. Because if there's a band that I really like and their music is really amazing, I want them to be able to share their music with as many people as possible. And I want them to be able to do that so that they can build a larger audience, make more money, and have enough money to produce even better music in the future. So,
You're a turbo hipster who wants your views validated.
I mean, I want like, well, I mean, like the way that I say that I'm a unintentional hipster is I like music that's unpopular. Like I like bands that like make great music and then I want them to become popular. But usually my favorite music from any band is the stuff that nobody's listening to. And it's like I always like my sister when I was a very young at a very young age when she was teaching me about like good music, and she's the person who got me into Smashing Pumpkins in the first place. Most of my taste in music comes from my wonderful, amazing sister. She used to tell me, she said, listen, over time you're going to like find music that you like by listening to the radio or listening to singles or whatever. She said whenever you find a band that you've never listened to before but you like one song or like one single that you think is amazing, you have to go out and acquire the album or a bunch of their music and you have to listen to like every single song. And she said you do that because 9 times out of 10 the music that they're not playing on the radio or the music that nobody's talking about is going to be the stuff that's the best music. And like I took that to heart and I learned that like most of the bands that I really love, for example, Smashing Pumpkins, they make music that is absolutely amazingly spectacular. And like that music that's amazingly spectacular, nobody's listening to it because it's not the popular song that's on the radio. It's not, you know, the hit single. And I mean, you know, I would never shit on the hit singles or the popular songs. Those are still great songs. But there's so much great music that they're producing that just never gets recognized. And that's like my kind of inner hipster, is that like my hipster is I like the songs that usually nobody's listening to because there's so much just great music that's just not being recognized. And I would love for people to like even come and join me. Like, you know, if I find music that's amazing and like it sounds great and nobody's listening to it, I want people to come in and enjoy it and listen to it and think it's amazing too. You know, I want to share that with people. So that's why I say I'm an unintentional hipster. Like I like the unpopular music. So that's kind of my spiel about being an unintentional hipster. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Like when you say accidental hipster,
yeah,
the only thing, well, the image that goes in my mind is you're just like walking around and then you trip, fall, and land on a Guster CD.
like, oh God, I guess this is what I am now.
You're just walking around, just listening to some Dre. And then you just trip and fall, and you end up landing on a Guster CD.
It's like the CD is like in the crack of a sidewalk, standing perfectly straight up, and I trip, and like I land on top of it, and the CD just lodges into my brain, and I'm just like, it's just there, sticking in my forehead forever, and I'm just like, I guess this is my life now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, I mean, like, you know, there's a lot of bands that I really like that produce music that nobody ever hears, and it makes me sad. And because, like, I even remember one of the ways that we even talked about music last time we were discussing this was I was talking about a band that I adore that doesn't exist anymore called Blind Melon. And Blind Melon, I think they made like only 2 albums, and the lead singer passed away. I think he OD'd on heroin, which is really too bad because he was very talented.
I mean, that's the very Seattle thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Overdose on heroin or commit unalive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or be Eddie Vedder.
The Ann hero.
Yeah, get Ann heroed.
Yeah. So, but I loved Blind Melon. And the thing is whenever you talk about Blind Melons, people are like, oh yeah, No Rain. Oh yeah, No Rain. And it's like, yeah, but do you know like Deserted? And they're like,
no,
what's that? Or you're like, how about Dear Old Dad? No, I don't know what that is. What about Seed to a Tree? No, I've never heard of that song. And it's like, that album is so good. Like the album that No Rain is on is just one of the most spectacular like works of art in music that I've ever listened to. I'm dead serious when I say that. like the original first Blind Melon album is
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, but they were a one-hit wonder and only got one song on MTV.
Yep, that's exactly it.
But that was a catchy video.
It was a good one, yeah. That's the
It
one
was,
with the girl in the bee suit dancing around, right?
yeah, that was the bee
Yeah.
suit dance.
Yeah, that was a good one. Very cute video. But that whole album, I swear, like, listen, guys, if you have the opportunity to go out and get the Blind Melon CD that has no rain, I actually can't even remember the title of the album, which is a big no-no on my part. But if you have the chance to go out and like listen to that album, it is one of the most amazing like just musical experiences I've ever had. And like my favorite song on that album is a song called Deserted. It is just absolutely amazing. It's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my entire life. And I mean, like I said, there's Seed to a Tree, there's Dear Old Dad, there's so much good music on there. But nobody listens to it and nobody knows it, and it makes me really sad. And I'm just like, I want to share this with other people. Like I want people to go out and just really yeah, they did release 2 albums. Okay, so the first album that had no rain was just self-titled. It was just Blind Melon was their first self-titled album.
Yeah, their first album going eponymous, because that's a real thing to do.
Yeah. And then Soup was the second album, which was also pretty good. That was a pretty good one as well. And then the lead singer passed away shortly after the second album's release. So there you go. But it's the Blind Melon was, it's so sad that they didn't last long because they were spectacular. They were an absolutely spectacular band that I heavily adored. But I mean, there's plenty like, stuff like that I listen to where it's like, I'll listen to a band and there'll be a one-hit wonder and it's like, oh my God, like every song on this album is amazing, And to bring it back from all that as well, that's how I felt with the album Machina, which is, like it's considered to be the weird album a lot for Smashing Pumpkins. Like, I mean, it's a good album, but not a lot of people are big fans of it. But it's just an album that whenever I listen to it, I'm like, okay, every single song on here, in my opinion, is amazing. Like,
except for Try.
Says you. Says you. But yeah, I mean, like, and for anybody who doesn't know, also, like, my favorite song that Smashing Pumpkins ever made is on that album. And that is Glass and the Ghost Children, which people think is very weird and very unusual. But I personally think that is personally my favorite Smashing Pumpkins song of all time because it's just so out there. And it also, like, that song inspired me to listen to a lot of other kinds of music that I heavily enjoy now. Because the song Glass and the Ghost Children, it's very dark, it's very weird, it's got like, psychedelic sounds to it, but it's very, creepy but interesting, and they do all sorts of interesting things with the music and the instruments, and it's just all over the place. And that really got me into listening to a lot of the like kind of jazzier, more psychedelic, more experimental kinds of music later on. And I can actually say that if I didn't fall in love with that specific song, Glass and the Ghost Children, I probably would have never gotten into the bands and music that I love today, So that song's a big deal for me. But what about you with your favorite stuff from Pumpkins, buddy?
Well, I mean, I kind of like all of it.
Well, do you have like a favorite, like
an absolute favorite song?
Yeah, or a favorite album with like multiple songs that you think are the best?
Well, I mean, obviously my favorite album is Siamese Dream, and my favorite song is Soma.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a banger of a song.
Question: did you ever hear Machina 2?
I did listen to Machina 2. I thought it was pretty good. but it didn't feel like the first one. But that's okay.
Well, no,
It
it
didn't need
didn't.
to be the first one.
It didn't need to be a first one. This is
Yeah.
kind of. It was kind of a remix album.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
But the version of Glass and the Ghost Children that was actually on Machina 2, I think is a little better.
Okay. I'll have to like give it a listen to because it's been a long time. Um, it's been a while. I actually have been I listen to a lot of Pandora, and
Well, yeah, Pandora isn't going to have Machina 2.
no, I know that. Unless I force it to, I can actually force it to start putting in weird stuff if I want it to.
No, I don't think Pandora even has that album.
Oh, okay, that'd be interesting.
Like, it was really weird. The Machina album hasn't been re-released yet because of a legal constraint issue.
Oh,
so we haven't seen the Machina reissue yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like not on Apple Music. It's
Right.
not on Pandora. It's not on Spotify.
I assume it has something to do with the label, right?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
legal issue. There's a legal issue with the label.
That's what I figured. Because it wouldn't be on Billy. He would probably try and get that out if he could get away with it. Unless he wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know tons of stuff about Billy, but I just know he makes good music. Like, for example, like one of the things that I thought was really interesting that you told me that blew my mind was you told me that Melancholy was part of a concept album series. And
Yeah.
I was and that blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute. Billy makes concept albums? Wait, what? Like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
what?
well, I mean, Machina is also a concept album.
Yeah, you told me that and I couldn't believe it.
It's actually a way better concept album than Machina.
Yeah.
I mean, than Melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Melancholy is part of a concept album that is currently still being worked on.
Yeah, I think you discussed with me that he's in the process of making the final one or something like that. Isn't that something you said?
Yeah. The next album is supposed to be the final album or
Right.
the final part of the Melancholy trilogy.
Huh. Yeah, I just like I don't know why, but you know, because so I do listen to concept albums. You know, like I one of my favorites of all time that I always think of because it was the first album I listened to that really taught me the concept of like a concept album is I so for anybody who doesn't know this about me, I love David Bowie. I am a major David Bowie fan. He's like one of my favorite music artists of all time. And he did an album called Outside. And Outside is an album that is telling across every song. It's a murder mystery. So as you listen to each song, as you go through the album, it's giving you more and more information as to what's going on in this murder mystery story. It's very cohesive. It's very like after listening to each song multiple times, like you can kind of get the idea of what's going on, and you know you can start putting all the pieces together, and it's a lot of fun. Like it's and you know ever since I first listened to that album, I was like, oh, like people can do this, like you know, like write a full story across like an entire album. And that was the first time I ever learned about that. But for some reason, like I've listened to, you know, like Melancholy and Machina like multiple times, and that never clicked with me. That never, the idea that it's telling a story across those two albums, I never got that impression. But I mean, it could also just be that I'd never super heavily listened to the lyrics, like really paid attention to what they were saying. So that could just be on my part that I just never really was able to recognize that, you know? But um is it like is it the idea of like they're trying to tell like a story, like a fictional story, or is it like you know Billy is like talking about somebody's life or his life or something like that?
He's non-committal as far as Melancholy is. Like he's actually gone on record as saying it is, it isn't, it is, it isn't. There's supposed to be a new album dropping later this year. Like later this year, but probably not going to happen until early next year. Oh, that is supposed to be the sequel.
Okay.
So that is what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, it just never seemed that way because, like, especially when I've like listened to Machina, I've never felt like any of the songs really tied together very well. Um, but one of the reasons why I like Glass and the Ghost Children is because when I listen to that song, that's a song that actually feels like that one singular song is telling a story. Like really like laying it all out there and telling a story that's going on, which is also a very weird and dark and sad story, but it's very good. Um, Another song that I really like that I feel like kind of does that is The Aeroplane Flies High. Like, that's a song that's also very weird that I feel like is trying to like tell a specific kind of story. And I always really like that a lot. Weren't you were telling me that you were a big fan of that song too, right?
Oh yeah, no, I like that song. I like the box
Mm-hmm.
set that it's named
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. That's a good one. The airplane flies high, turns left, looks right.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, Machina is actually a concept album.
I did not realize that.
Yeah,
I mean, I totally believe it.
There actually is some animated shorts.
What?
Yeah, for the Glass and the Ghost Children, or Zero and the Ghost Children.
What? I'm gonna look that up really quick because is it like by under the original title or is it like the because you said Zero in the Ghost Children, so does that mean that it's actually
I think it
like,
was like I'm trying to remember what it was actually called.
because that's my favorite. Like that I'm gonna have to look that up because that's like my favorite. Yeah, see, when I'm looking here, all I can see is plays of it
Oh,
where
okay.
it's
It's not Glass. It's not Zero and the Ghost Children. It's Glass and the Machines of God.
oh, weird.
Is the name of the animations.
Oh wow, that came up really fast actually. I've never heard of this. Oh, I've never seen this before. Oh well, I'm going to be watching this later tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was this concept animation, the band,
Yeah.
and very obviously like inspired by the Pumpkins.
Yeah. It kind of
Yeah,
I'm looking at some still images of it and it kind of makes me think of
the videos are going to be hard to find anywhere for Glass and the Machines of God. There
oh,
were
there's
like
yeah.
there were like a few videos.
It looks like they have like the first 3 episodes on YouTube. Um and I don't know if there's any more than that, but um that's really I've never seen these or heard of these before. That's so crazy. And from the still images
I
that I'm looking
think
at,
I think I recalled seeing 3,
yeah.
and I remember there being a that talks about 5 episodes. I don't know if episodes 4 and 5 ever got made.
Wow, these are dating back to like 14 years ago. And that's only when they were uploaded, so they're probably older than that, huh? That's
Well, I
crazy.
mean, this was released right alongside Machina.
Yeah.
So I mean, that album is that was released 2000.
Mhm.
So yeah, this was released. So yeah, these are 14. These are 21-year-old video clips.
That's so crazy. I've never heard of these before. This is proof positive that you know more about
The Pumpkins than
Smashing
you do.
Pumpkin, yeah, than I do. Clearly,
Well, I mean, you're just a
just
wee
a
little.
fan.
You were just a wee little baby when Siamese Dream came out.
Hmm.
Just a wee little baby.
Early '90s on that one. Well, I mean,
Uh, yeah, that was 92, I believe.
oh yeah, I was literally like 1 year old. I was one
Yeah,
years old when that album
you
came
were
out.
you were a wee little baby when it was released in July 27th, 1993. I was 13 years old, and that came out shortly after my birthday.
Wow.
And I absolutely was like, and the thing is I knew it was coming, and I was a really big fan because of Gish. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, for my birthday, wait a little bit, get me this album that's coming out.
That's really cool. That's a good man. I used to get so happy when people would buy me like my favorite albums for my birthday. I even remember getting some of them. Like I remember um oh god, how old was I? I think I was I think I was like 13 or 14. And I remember my best friend at that time bought me for my birthday, for my 13th or 14th birthday. He bought me the Inema um album for Tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't remember any gift I got that birthday except for that album. That was the only thing that I remember getting that year on my birthday. And I was so happy about it. And I remember that, like, oh god, I remember because I was with my mother at that time, and I remember like him giving me that, and I was like so excited. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted for my birthday. And like I remember she picked it up out of my hands and she looked at it, and she was like gave it this like look, like she was like, I don't know about, because like Inema's like, it's, it's music with bad words and sexual, innuendos and all sorts of things like that. And I remember her looking at it, and she like looked at it like she was holding like a slimy evil thing, and I was like, give me that. Like that's mine. You don't get to like mess with my birthday gifts. Uh but like, oh god, yeah, getting music albums for your birthday when you're like a young kid or a teenager, especially when it's the ones you want, is just the best feeling ever. It's just the best feeling. Like, man, I don't blame you for being excited for that album when it came out. Oh man, but that's so cool. I had no idea about these animations. I'm gonna have to watch them later. That's crazy.
You're welcome.
Yeah. They kind of, the still images remind me of what's it called? Metalocalypse a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The animation style has a little bit of heavy metal in it, a little Metalocalypse.
Yeah. Well, I'm just kind of like looking at some of the faces of the characters in the still images, and they remind me of that. That's really crazy. Do you cuz I brought it up. Were you really into Tool or anything like that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not as big as some of the other ones, as some of the other music I was listening to at that time.
Did you listen to like a lot of grunge or anything like that?
Uh, Not a lot.
I
Like I knew about grunge, and I like some grunge,
yeah.
but uh, it definitely wasn't like my favorite. Like I didn't. It wasn't a genre that I was like, oh my god, I gotta have this. Like when it finally blew up,
Uh-huh.
like when it blew up about the same time. Uh, well, it blew up right there in the early '90s as well.
Mhm.
And it was like, well, this is good. This is kind of like this is like a different kind of rock music, and I can get behind it. But it got kind of stale really quickly for me.
Yeah. Well, cuz like one of the things I've learned
And then
about
everybody either overdosed on heroin or became an hero.
yeah, and then the grunge era died, and then it was just gone forever.
Yeah, yeah.
um yeah, it's like the thing is like with grunge music is that I ran into is, other than like the few really really amazing ones, a lot of them sound the same. Like I actually did recognize that. Like cuz I have my favorites. Like I think of like Soundgarden, um Alice in Chains,
Good one,
Pearl Jam.
respectable. Ugh.
What?
Ugh.
You don't like Pearl Jam?
Eddie Vedder's kind of a twat. And the thing is their music, like on the for the most part, their music isn't much different than anything else.
Really? I'm a Pearl Jam fan, but I mean that's okay. I also know plenty of people who are not Pearl Jam fans, so you're not going to hurt my feelings. It's all good.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna hear this one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, but no, like Eddie Vedder is always like I always tell people who like Pearl Jam, I was like, I don't know if you know this, but I don't think Eddie Vedder is the vocalist or the writer that everybody's giving him credit for.
Oh, okay, like you mean because like the stuff do you mean how he sings, or do you mean like how he writes?
I don't think he writes.
Okay.
I think he sings the way he sings.
Yeah.
And then you got somebody like Robert Goulet in the background trying to transcribe it.
Well, because like he writes a lot. He makes me think of
Potato Wave.
Oh man. He makes me think of what's his name? Oh god, his name suddenly slipped my mind. Oh god, I'm gonna hear this from my dad if he ever listens to this episode. He's like, you should know him because this is one of my dad's favorite bands. The Doors, the lead singer of The Doors.
Okay.
Do you remember the name? I can't think of his name right now, but that guy writes a lot of nonsense like lyrics, and like Eddie Vedder makes, and I mean I like him. I love The Doors. I think The Doors were amazing. But the way that he writes his music makes me think of Eddie Vedder a lot. Like, cause they just write weird stuff, and it's just like they're amazing singers, like, you know. Like,
so the name that your father's going to spank you for not remembering is Jim Morrison, by the way?
Jim Morrison, that's it, Jim Morrison.
Okay, the thing is Jim Morrison intentionally wrote nonsense.
Yeah, he was a poet.
Yeah, he was a poet. He wrote, you know, eclectically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eddie Vedder invented mumble rap. And then you have somebody like Robert Goulet in the background trying to pretend, like transcribing these, trying to transcribe the lyrics.
That's so good. He invented mumble rap.
He invented mumble rap. Like everybody's like, no, that was Busta Rhymes. I'm like, no, it wasn't Busta Rhymes. It was Eddie Vedder.
I could, like, one of the things that I just thought of that would be really funny is Eddie Vedder, like, with a straight face, basically doing his songs, but at like what's it called? A open mic night at a jazz bar for like slam poetry. With just like deadpan, he just like says it deadpan. He's not even singing it, but like he would be like deadpan, like using his lyrics for slam poetry night at a like unpopular jazz bar, and like it would be totally serious, totally deadpan, his normal voice, he's not singing, but like every once in a while he'll take a break and be like, yeah.
So like I don't have any like as much as I like to knock on Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Like for basically inventing mumble rap. The thing is, it's like before mumble rap became mumble rap.
Yeah.
Like people like in the mid 90s,
mm-hmm.
that was like people didn't know how to pronunciate consonants very well.
Okay.
While singing alt rock in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
Like, because you have Pearl Jam, you have Creed, and like all these people who didn't know how to sing consonants properly. Well, I mean, Creed's problem is that he just was holding on to the world's largest dump.
It's true. It sounds like it.
And like seriously, like if you listen to him, we're eyes wide open. Like as soon as he lets go of that turd,
his wide open. His voice will drop a couple octaves.
Like he goes from this fake baritone that he's been pulling off because he's got a deuce in there. And then he's like opera quality soprano.
Yeah, man. Well, like one of the things that always makes me laugh about the grunge era, because I feel like this is something that you only really experience in the grunge era of music, is like have you ever heard like singers, especially in the grunge era, like that use like filler, where it's just like they don't know what they're doing anymore, so they're just like my favorite is always, and there's so many grunge bands that are fantastic that do this. I feel like I've heard it from Alice in Chains, I've heard it from Soundgarden, I've definitely heard it from Pearl Jam.
You mean using doot doos and la las is
yeah, no, yeah. Like,
yeah.
come on, man. Come on, just write something, please. Just write something.
Just writing doot doos and la las.
No, yeah.
What?
Oh what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh man. Jeez, he should have been in a grunge band.
No, man.
Little John should have been a grunge era.
No, Little John did what Little John did, and he couldn't be contained by no one genre.
Have you ever seen, oh god, I'm probably gonna misquote it, but there's like this amazing old meme that I used to love when I was younger that was like, it showed like different famous philosophers like all lined up next to each other, and it showed like, I can't remember their names, but it showed like each philosopher, and then it showed a famous quote by them, and it would be like one of them was like, what is the point of life, or something like that, and then it would show the next philosopher, and then it would say like, what is life, and then after that it showed another philosopher, and he's like, what is it, and then another one says, what is, and then they get to Little John at the bottom, it just says, what?
What?
Oh, Little John, you are the great philosopher of our time, and we just don't understand you yet.
No, we understand him perfectly, because unlike Eddie Vedder, he could enunciate.
Well, everybody knows exactly what Little John's trying to talk about, because everybody from across the globe can hear him yell at the top of his lungs, what? Okay.
Yeah, but he can enunciate it.
That's true. That's true. Oh man, as ridiculous as there is many things about the grunge era, I do adore it. I love, all those bands we were just making fun of. They're some of my favorites.
Like, okay, so I'm more of an art rock kind of guy.
Okay, all right.
So like, that's why grunge didn't really ever impress me.
Yeah,
because musically speaking, it's 3 power chords.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy and somebody singing like he's got throat cancer.
Right.
I mean, like the good grunge bands. You did Soundgarden. Soundgarden's good.
Oh, I love Soundgarden.
Mother Love Bone was the start of it, and they were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Then Alice is good, but I always thought Alice was more metal than grunge.
Yeah, they were. I always kind of used to describe them as industrial grunge, because they had that really like crunchy, slimy, dirty kind of like, metal music kind of sound to them.
Well, my thought for Alice was they were the indictment of the cultural change, because what grunge did was killed glam metal.
Mm-hmm. Right. Grunge
killed glam metal, and Alice in Chains was kind of that band that started in the middle there and was like, we're going to be a glam metal band. And then grunge happened, and they're like, oh, we're a grunge band.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that they did like, did they actually like dress up and stuff like that?
No, they didn't dress up, but
okay. They just did that style,
their sound,
is what you're saying.
Their sound sounds a lot like glam metal.
Gotcha.
Like, they're not heavy metal; they were more glam metal.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I'll have to like go back and, because I think I own like most of the Soundgarden albums. I think I might only be missing like 2 of them.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely have like their first album.
Alice was, the way I like to describe it is, Alice is more Guns N' Roses than Metallica.
Okay. I get that. I mean, admittedly, I'm not a big fan of Metallica or Guns N' Roses, but I can definitely see like what you're saying with that.
Oh, I love Metallica.
I don't.
Like, I don't like metal that much either, but I do love me some Metallica.
There's only one Metallica song that ever really stood out and impressed me, and I feel like it's not even a popular song because that's the kind of
Because that's who
person
you are.
because that's who I am. Is I think it's called Whiskey in the Jar.
Not even their song.
That's not their song. Okay, then I have
That's
no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
that's a no. Well, no. They covered it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They uh they did an entire album of covers, like
Okay.
metal covers of non-metal songs. And that was the kind of thing that actually kind of made me like Metallica more.
That's the Whiskey in the Jar is the only song I like by Metallica, and I didn't
Yeah.
even know that that wasn't their song.
Yeah, Whiskey in a Jar is not their song.
I did not know that. Who originally did that song? It's okay if you don't know. I could probably look it up real
Okay.
quick.
I'm trying to remember.
It's okay.
Trying to remember. But yeah, the album was called Garage Inc. when Metallica covered just a bunch of Metallica songs.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember the non-Metallica, like who did the non-Metallica version.
There's a couple of different.
But it was like a folk song, like a southern rock folk song at one point.
So there's one from the 1990s called The Progs, the Dubliners, and then there's one in 1972 called Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy is the original.
Okay. And then apparently somebody named Brian Adams did it in 2019, I guess. So
yeah, Thin Lizzy's Whiskey in the Jar is the original version.
I love that song, but I always I remember hearing that as a teenager because I didn't like Metallica even as a teenager. I didn't like them. And I remember hearing that one song because it was used in an animated cartoon of I used to go on to Newgrounds when I was a teenager and watch the animations and play the games. And somebody made a animated music video of that song. And the animated music video was, the animation was interesting. It was all right. But the main thing that stood out to me was I was like, oh my God, this song is really good. And this is a Metallica song. I don't like Metallica, but I really like this song. And that always stood out in my mind as the only song I like by Metallica. And I've listened to I guess isn't there one called it's Puppet Master or something like that? Isn't that a famous one they do? Am I misremembering that name?
Puppet Master.
Yeah, that's a song by them, right? That's what it's called. I think that's a song that I'm okay with.
You're thinking of their album Master of Puppets.
Okay. Okay.
It's Puppet Master. It's do you mean the album that has the song Master of Puppets?
I guess so. I remember it being a song. I thought it was called this shows how much of a clearly I'm the biggest Metallica fan ever if you can't tell.
Master of Puppets there is a track in the album Master of Puppets.
Okay.
It's one of their worst albums, by the way.
That's fine. I don't like Metallica, so it's okay.
But no, what I really like for Metallica, obviously everybody likes One.
I think I've heard that song. Like I said, you're talking to somebody who just doesn't listen to Metallica that much, so at all, if I can get away with it. But they've just never, I don't know, they've just never been my kind of band. I've just never been into their music. I don't think it's the worst music I've ever heard, but it's definitely not my kind of thing, But yeah, so are you a fan of Metallica?
Not the world's largest Metallica fan.
Okay.
But I'll listen to some of their stuff.
All right.
Enter Sandman. Everybody knows that song.
Maybe. Maybe everybody knows.
Okay, just make me look stupid.
Me? People who what?
Just make me look stupid then. Everybody knows that song.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
For Whom the Bell Tolls is a fairly well-known metal anthem.
Okay, that one I know. That one I clearly know.
Fade to Black is another good one.
Okay. If you say so.
I do.
Okay. That's fine. I don't know. I don't like the. It's not that I'm saying like you're wrong. What I'm saying here is I don't know. I don't listen to
And you
Metallica.
don't know, yeah.
Like I mean, I if you told me like you could list off like like you could give me a list of songs that don't actually exist, and if you told me that those songs that don't actually exist are the best Metallica songs, I'd be like, you right,
Yeah.
you right, man.
One is well known for its opening and guitar, and the guitar as being one of the better guitar solos in all of metal.
Okay, all right.
That's just the Black Album. Pretty much everybody loves the Black Album.
Okay, you right.
Yeah, because I mean, that's the Black Album is where they went like super mainstream because there's Enter Sandman, Sad But True, The Unforgiven. It's one of the ones where Metallica kind of got their chops for being known as the thinking man's metal band.
All right.
So not not a huge Metallica fan. Like
no things.
I do know things about some Metallica.
Okay, that's cool, man.
You know,
there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if a good portion of the people who listen to our podcast can respect you for that. I think there's a few of them that are Metallica fans, so they're probably like, Hobbs doesn't know good music, but clearly Lettuce does.
Yeah. So
do you so because you told me when you're talking about music that you were into, you said like you weren't into grunge, but you said you were more into you said like art style music,
art music, like art rock.
Yeah, so like what are some other bands that are like that? Like I want to see if I listen to a few of them because I kind of like some more experimental artsy stuff too.
Oh, this isn't experimental artsy stuff. This is more of it's more about instrumentals that like the instruments than it is about the lyrics.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I listen to some stuff like that.
Like I appreciate like good quality instrument work.
Sure.
Which is why out of all those bands in the early 90s, my favorite will end up being Smashing Pumpkins, because as musicians, the Smashing Pumpkins were just hands down better than most of their contemporaries.
Yeah, well, they experimented a lot with the music that they played and how they played their instruments, which was really interesting and gave them a very unique sound to their music. You know, so I totally agree with you on that. Like,
you know, and as far as guitarists go, Billy Corgan's probably one of the better guitarists in the history of music.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just,
I mean, I can't think of anything to argue against that because I mean,
instead of playing, but you know, he was a rock musician, so like he didn't like there was a lot of space that he's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't. But he didn't. But you didn't hear him exploring a lot of it,
right? Because he always kind of had to have like his band was a particular sound.
Well, no. Well, I mean, no. I mean, the sound was what he wanted it to be. But I'm just saying, there was he wasn't. He's not a jazz guitarist. He's not a blues guitarist.
Right.
Well, but he could be. But he could be. And I've heard him cover like blues, like some pretty good like. Everybody thinks of like quality like guitarists, and they always think of people like Clapton and King.
Okay.
Because Clapton and King did things with guitars that no one else did. They think Jimi Hendrix.
Sure. I mean, I like Jimi Hendrix.
Just people kind of doing things with guitars that not everybody else was doing, and it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Billy did some of that. He just never got any credit for it because he was like he never took time to do the guitar solo.
Right, I see what you're saying.
His songs didn't have the 3-minute guitar solo where he got to wank on his Fender.
Yep, yeah.
So like he doesn't get the kind of credit for being the better pure raw musician that he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Chamberlain's probably one of the best drummers in contemporary music.
Okay.
But everybody's like, this band used to play with the drum machine. What does Jimmy do? And I was like, I mean, a lot. Because Jimmy is a jazz drummer by trade. He was, when he was discovered, he's a trained jazz drummer.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good at drumming.
Yeah.
He just, again, no one asks
solo.
him. No one asks him to do a 3-minute fill.
Yeah.
The closest the Pumpkins ever got to giving him a to any kind of solo or fill is the intro to I Am One.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that had like a whole like
that was a drum intro. Yeah, that was a drum intro.
I'm having that song play in my head right now. I can hear it. Like, I'm imagining how it sounds, and I'm like, that's right. It had that in the very beginning. It was actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, they did have a lot of like genuine musical talent, because like I said, like my favorite song I told you is Glass and the Ghost Children, and they just do all sorts of wild stuff in that song.
Oh yeah, that's a Glass of the Ghost Children in of itself is kind of a jazz fusion exploration.
Yeah. And like that's why I love that song, is because like it's one of the few times where I feel like they really are exploring with their music, and they're doing all sorts of different kinds of things, and I love the songs where they do that kind of stuff. You know, that's a lot of fun. And you know, so I do like, because you mentioned like jazz and stuff like that. Do you listen to jazz? Like, are you kind of a jazz head kind of guy?
A little bit.
Okay.
Like I have quite eclectic tastes.
Okay.
I listen to a little bit of jazz. I listen to a little bit of blues.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to classical music.
Okay. I don't really listen to classical music anymore, but you know, my father does. He's obsessed with classical music. That's his, you know, that's his whole thing.
I like, one of my favorite artists of all time is Frédéric Chopin.
Oh man, my dad would probably kiss you right now. Because I recognize that name, even though I don't listen to classical music. Thanks to my father. I mean, not listening to the classical music. I mean, the fact that I know that name is thanks to my father. Yeah, I grew up with classical music, and I mean, even though I don't really like listening to classical music much anymore, I can definitely say that I'm glad that I grew up with it, because that's the kind of thing that allowed me to recognize, you know, really good instrumentals or like genuine musical talent in the music that I listen to now. Like, listening to classical music helps you kind of like learn, you know, music theory and things like that. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah. And it helps you kind of like really, it helps get you into that, that unintentional hipster mentality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you can like recognize really good music that nobody else listens to because they're uncultured swine.
Love me some Antonin Dvorak. One of my favorite songs of all time is still Ave Maria.
Oh, I recognize that. Who is that?
Hans Schubert.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, the operetta.
Yeah.
Ave Maria.
Yeah. I recognize that. Yeah, I did listen to a lot of that stuff when I was like a little kid. What pulled me out of listening to classical music was my sister. Because basically like classical music was all I listened to. And then I remember, because when I started
Your sister busted into your room saying, "Listen here, nerd."
So it's almost like that. Okay. So here's how it goes down. Let's talk about my musical history a little bit. Okay, my personal musical history. So
okay,
I grew up listening to classical music, and I didn't really, you know anything about music very much. The only thing I knew outside of classical music was my mother used to listen to like a lot of like 50s and 60s music. So I would hear that all the time. But I mean, there were like maybe a couple songs that I kind of liked, but most of it I was really not a fan of. So then I was finally like, my mother finally allowed me to kind of like start getting into my own music taste. So what did I break into? Why, the Backstreet Boys, of course. I went from...
Oh, you were way too young for that to be useful.
So yeah, I grew up listening to the Backstreet Boys. I was a big fan of them when I was fairly young. I thought they were just the best thing on the planet at the time. And so listening to Backstreet Boys, and my sister was, just like, what? This is not good. He's listening to Backstreet Boys. This is. Should I intervene? I like to think that my sister's mentality is like, should I save him? Like, is this something I need to do? And it's like, well, let's see what time will tell. Let's see what'll happen. So I moved out of Backstreet Boys. And what was the coolest thing to like listen to at that time?
Okay, Backstreet Boys isn't New Kids on the Block. I was getting I always get Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block like mixed up, and I'm like, dude, New Kids on the Block is like before your time.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't listen. My sister liked New Kids on the Block when she was younger. That was her jam. So she had her thing for New Kids.
Oh, she knew what was happening, and she decided to save you.
Yeah. Well, so I think what happened was that my sister went through the process that I was going to, and she's like, "I want to save you a few years of misery." So I went from Backstreet Boys into, well, what was the next cool thing? Well, I discovered a song called Tub Thumper by Chumbawamba. So I got into...
Okay, mid-90s pop. Mid-90s pop was pretty lit.
Yeah. I still have my Chumbawamba album. I still have it. I know exactly where it is as we were speaking right now. I get knocked down.
I get up again. Ain't never going to... Yeah, mid-90s pop is some pretty lit crap.
But listen, if you're talking Chumbawamba with me, do you know anything? Bro, do you even know that there's something about Mary? Like, have you ever heard that song? Like, do you know? Okay, so did you own the album? Did you actually listen? Oh, okay. Never mind. There's a song on there called "There's Something About Mary," and I was really into that song.
Yeah, that was the other single. That was the other single.
Yeah, that was a while.
That tanked. Yeah, that the one that declared them to be the one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I loved that album. And then I was like, okay, well, let's move forward. Linkin Park, baby. Through and through, all day, every day. I was a Linkin Park kid.
Oh, you did the emo thing. Oh, man.
Oh yeah. I got Hybrid Theory. I did Reanimation. I did Meteora.
My Chemical Romance.
I didn't do My Chemical Romance. So this
you didn't do When I Was, even for the memes?
No, Linkin Park.
I did. Well, no. I'm saying Linkin Park. That was your gateway to being emo.
Yeah. So that's this. This is the point. Linkin Park was when my sister put her foot down. She's like, okay, this is too far. You've gone too far.
It got too far to lose it.
So I was really into Linkin Park, and my sister was like, okay, this is a dangerous route you're going down, my little brother. I need to step in. We need to change something. Something's got to give here. So Linkin Park was... when my sister finally decided to step in, and she's like, I'm about to drop some like insane good music on you. I'm about to change your whole life.
Listen here, nerd.
Yeah.
No more of this gay crap.
So my sister dropped some freaking music knowledge on me by dumping basically more than half of her entire library of music on me. And this was in the early days where you could, you could still do this now, clearly, but this was back when she was like, okay, I'm going to bring over half my library of music and I'm going to rip all my CDs for you so that you just have them. And so that was when I gained more than half of my entire sister's library. And
how cute. Your sister made you a bunch of mixtapes.
She did. She just dropped every album she could on me at that time. And
how old is your sister?
My sister
older by how much?
9.5 years.
Okay, so age appropriate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back when me and your sister, because we're about the same age as it turns out, were growing up, handing somebody a mixtape was like the same as going Facebook official.
Yeah, it's a love letter. I used to make mixtapes. Yeah, I did do that. Like growing up.
See, the thing is, I can't speak for the young babies because you guys didn't actually have cassette tapes.
I had cassette tapes that I made mixtapes, man. Come on,
Oh,
man.
okay, okay.
I even literally made a couple mixtapes as
So
love letters to girls that I had crush on
okay, okay.
when
So
I was in
you when
middle
you gave
school.
them the cassette tape, did they look at you like a pleb? Like, what the is
Bruh.
this?
No,
Oh, okay, okay. Because
like
again,
my first real girlfriend, which was my first real girlfriend. I was 14 years old and she was 16. Um, uh, I made mixtapes for her. I did, like, legit cassette tapes, and we had like boom boxes that played cassettes. Like, yes, CDs existed, but like I just didn't.
because I'm trying to think of the time frame there, and you're talking about 14, 16.
Early
When you're 14, 16,
2000s. I'm serious.
I was thinking mid 2000s.
Yeah, this was
Like,
early 2000s. This
okay,
was like 2000.
okay. I was gonna put you like closer to 2009 than 2002.
No, this was like between 2003 and 2005 for
Okay,
me. Yeah.
okay. Then it's not so bad. See,
Yeah.
I was thinking 2009, 2010, where like if you were carrying around a boombox with a working cassette tape,
Mhm.
you were some kind of pleb.
Yeah, I'd get jumped if I did that at that time.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I made between 2003 and 2005, I was making mixtapes, and that was also when I had like my first serious girlfriend at that time, and I made her like a couple of different mixtapes, like I did. Um like mostly rock stuff, but I also like, and I would just rip them right off of the freaking radio, like,
I mean,
and
that's the way you had to do it back in the
yeah,
day.
that's what I did, man. That's what I did.
You had to
Um,
like rip it off the radio,
well, I
or
mean, because
actually, I had actually a fairly decent sound system,
uh-huh.
or access to a fairly decent sound system, and I figured out a way to route my audio through my cassette tape, so I could rip from MTV.
That's rad.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that. That's cool.
yeah. Like, no, I mean people. I mean, people from MTV were just putting a microphone in front of their speaker.
Yeah, it's like going to a movie theater with a camcorder.
But I was able to route my like the home system into a tape deck,
Uh-huh.
and then back out into the output,
Uh-huh.
because I was a baller like that.
Hella pro. That's awesome. But yeah, so the thing is like I could have like ripped and like burned CDs, but at that time, the only music I had was like freaking Backstreet Boys, Chumbawamba, and like Linkin Park. So like, what kind of like mix CDs would I be making of those of those three bands?
Oh,
So
come on.
yeah, I made mixtapes, man.
Like
That's all I had
early two
available.
thousands, early 2000s pop was so lit. You want to hear my guilty pleasure?
Sure,
I've only
lay it
admitted
on me.
this. I've only admitted this to like one other person. Now I'm spilling the tea on the podcast. So now seven people know this. Um, my guilty pleasure, still to this day,
Uh-huh.
is mid 2000s Britney.
Oh, dude, Britney Spears is lit. I don't care what anybody says. Dude, Britney Spears, I secretly loved her. Like, I wanted to hate her because I was a boy in the early 2000s, and if you were a boy in the early 2000s, it's like, oh, Britney, oh, what terrible music, what trash. And it's like, when you get to be a teenager and then an adult, you can reflect on it. You're like, you know what? That woman is talented.
She
Like,
is.
she's talented, and she doesn't get as much credit as she deserves. Britney's great.
She's actually a pretty good actress too.
I've never seen her act before in my life, but
She was a guest. She did a couple guest cameos on How I Met Your Mother.
Really? I did not know that at all.
Yeah, no, she.
Did she play one of his like girlfriends or something?
No. She. Here's the ironic thing: is she was playing the receptionist of the dentist.
Okay.
Just blanked in the character's name, was dating, and she had the hugest crush on him.
That's weird. I don't remember that. Because I actually did watch a lot of How I Met Your Mother back before it was popular, because clearly I'm a hipster. I did actually watch it before it blew up, but
I know.
But anyways,
Preaching to the choir, my man.
Yeah, I did watch it before it blew up, and I thought it was okay. But I don't remember her ever being on that show. So it either just slipped my mind or I must have missed it or something. But I didn't know that she actually like did any acting in general. That's kind of cool. But I always like, you're never gonna, get an argument out of me. I think Britney was always a talented lady, and
Oh yeah, no.
like, she not only is she a great, like, not only is she a great singer, but she's also a great performer. Like, she's got amazing showmanship. Like,
she can sing, she can dance,
she could do it all.
she can shave her head.
Oh man, that was a dark time. That was a dark time for poor little old Britney. That poor girl. She's gone through a lot. But she's still great. She's still great. Like, I do always kind of hope that like she understands that she's amazing at everything she's ever done, and I hope she never forgets that. But she's had some dark moments in her life for sure. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with admitting that. I mean, I admitted that I listened to Chumbawamba and Backstreet Boys, for God's sake. Like, I feel like Backstreet Boys.
Everybody listened to well, not everybody listened to Backstreet Boys. Your sister was right to save you from that one.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we like everybody, like, again, like the early 2000s, like the late 90s, early 2000s pop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was some stuff that was just lit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. I like I said, like I did love the Chumbawamba Tub Thumper album. That was something I adored. Also, like the what is it? Like,
Bare Naked Ladies.
Like, one of the things that I loved about the 90s and early 2000s was, they had that like hip hop kind of pop music. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, they had like I like girls who wear Abercrombie and Fitch, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, that was good music, man.
Informer.
Yeah. Like, I used to love that stuff. Like, it was like hip hop music, but it was like tamed for like a radio safe, like pop, audience,
It was gentrified hip hop for the suburbs.
Yeah, it was. And I loved it. I really did enjoy that stuff.
Love me some Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah, I don't think I really ever went out of my way to listen to them before.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I mean, the thing is you didn't have to go out of your way unless you're a hipster and you're all like, la 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 la, they're too popular. La 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 la.
Well, and that's the thing, is because like I did like popular bands. Where I get weird is I like popular bands that do unpopular music. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna type in the Bare Naked Ladies. I'm gonna see if there's anything I immediately
1 week. Alcohol. This is my apartment.
I mean, I don't recognize them by title.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Oh God!
Tell me.
Okay, I secretly hate that song.
Oh, come on. Everybody loves the chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. How can you not love that?
I don't know. That was just never a song that I liked. I even remember as a kid hearing that, and I was like, I don't think I like this.
You just hate Canadians.
Oh, no. Come on.
You're a racist against Canadians.
I adore Canadians. Shut up. Shut up, man. Shut up. Oh,
you hate the Bryan Adams.
So if like, you know what, if we're going to talk about weird bands that like were popular in the 90s that did like one hit wonders, did you ever listen to they suddenly popped into my mind because I saw an image from the Bare Naked Ladies thumbnail that made me think of this band. Did you ever listen to Harvey Danger? Did you ever listen to Harvey Danger?
Not intentionally.
They did the song Flagpole Sitta.
I know what you're doing. I know what they did. I never liked ska.
Do they count as ska? Wait a minute, is my mind about to be blown? I don't think they did ska.
Harvey Danger had that kind of ska big band type thing going on.
I mean, I would kind of agree with sort of like big
Like
band a little bit.
they weren't like full blown ska, like big band punk. So that's kind of like
Yeah.
what ska. Yeah, like I was like trying to get with a chick that really liked ska
Okay.
back in that day, and just wasn't worth it.
Huh. They so like
I liked They Might Be Giants because
oh yes, dude, They
they
Might
were
Be
kind
Giants
of
was great.
like the Weird Al of ska bands.
Just oh my god, my mind's being blown. Does They Might Be Giants count as ska? There's
They
no
did
way.
they
There's no
did
way.
they did again. They had trumpets and stuff, which was very ska-ish at the time.
Okay.
Even though they weren't like,
So if you have a trumpet, then you're a ska musician.
if your punk band played a trumpet,
I don't know
the
how I
problem
feel
is
about that.
They Might Be Giants wasn't necessarily punkish.
But like they made music for children, right? Wasn't that the whole thing?
They didn't just make music for children,
but it was for the intention of children being able to enjoy.
They had their safe for children's music. Yes, they did songs for the Animaniacs, and then they did songs for the adult people too. And I'm not talking David Allan Coe adult music.
Okay, all right, okay.
But I'm saying they did real for every Triangle Man. Like they did a Triangle Man.
You had to
for
say it.
for Animaniacs.
I was actually hoping I was gonna be the one to say it. I was gonna say, but listen, just in case you didn't know, nobody, and I mean nobody, beats Triangle Man. Triangle Man is the best. Nobody can beat Triangle Man. Not even Particle Man, and he tried so hard. He tried so hard to beat Triangle Man, and he couldn't do it.
Right. So
Triangle Man is the best.
For every song that they did for Animaniacs, or every song that they did for Homestar Runner, like they
made music for Homestar Runner.
Yeah, they did one or two songs for Homestar Runner.
What? I used to love Homestar Runner.
The Ballad of the Cheat.
I actually remember that song. I didn't know that they did that song.
That was them.
What? I had no idea.
The Ballad of the Cheat. The Ballad of Cheat is They Might Be Giants.
I had no idea that they did that song. That's
Get educated.
Yeah. No, I owned the I think it was called Flood. Wasn't that what it was called? Flood?
Yeah, I mean that was their album with Triangle Man.
Yeah. Well, and I mean they had so like Istanbul's Constantinople, and that's long time gone, Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? Because nobody knows but the Turks.
Yep. Yeah, that was all on Flood.
Or another one that I really loved. Like I listened to that album a lot when I was a kid. I loved it. Was I might as well be whistling in the dark. Whistling in the dark.
Oh, my bad. That wasn't They Might Be Giants. It was Da Vinci's Notebook that did Ballad of the Sneak.
Why you got to do me like that? Why you got to do me dirty like that, man? Why? You break my heart every time, man.
Well, I mean,
you can't keep lying to me, man. You can't keep feeding me these lies. That's okay. Yeah, I loved They Might Be Giants. That was a good little piece of my childhood. I even remember, like, God, when I think of that music, I immediately go like regress into my childhood and remember like being out in the living room and building a giant blanket fort. You know, like I had chairs and blankets everywhere, like all over the place with pillows and blankets, and I had like a little TV inside my little blanket fort. And I was like playing like Final Fantasy X on my PlayStation 2 while while They Might Be Giants is blasting in the background.
Okay, so the song that I thought was They Might Be Giants wasn't actually They Might Be Giants. The They Might Be Giants did collaborate with the Brothers Chap several times.
I don't know who that is.
The Brothers Chaps are the creators of Homestar Runner.
Oh, okay. So they did do stuff together. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Actually, the Homestar Runner people did a video for They Might Be Giants called Experimental Film.
I definitely don't know that. I definitely don't know that.
Well, it's something you'll probably YouTube.
Okay. Maybe.
I might even throw you a link after we get done with this.
Yeah. I was thinking we should probably get towards wrapping this up here. I wasn't even paying attention to the time. I only just now looked at the clock and I was like, whoa.
Time flies when you're having fun, my dude.
Yeah, this has been fun. This is definitely a lot nicer and a lot more relaxing than what we failed at last week.
Yeah. I'm probably going to get some hateful comments from my girlfriend.
About what?
Oh, she's one of those huge Pearl Jam fans.
Oh, I mean, but here's the thing, girl, if you're listening to this right now, like, I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan. I love 10. Like, I love all that stuff. Like,
I like Robert Goulet as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big, gigantic Pearl Jam fan. So are you hating on me and I didn't even recognize it? Is that what you did?
Okay, I said I'm a huge Robert Goulet fan because Robert Goulet, I always insist, like somebody goes, some ghostwriter, Eddie Vedder used like a ghostwriter, and the one that came to my head was famous Vegas crooner Robert Goulet.
Okay. I mean, hate is gonna hate, okay? I still love Pearl Jam. I adore Eddie Vedder, so whatever, man.
By the way, you're ready to get your mind blown?
Sure.
I'm gonna assume since you like Pearl Jam, you probably love Nirvana.
I actually don't. Actually don't. No, I am that crazy man who does not like Nirvana, legitimately.
Okay, so you are really that hipster.
Yeah, I just don't like their music. That's all it is. That's literally all it is.
I mean, they hit mainstream and it all went downhill from there. I guarantee you. I agree with you.
That they did before they became famous, I was not a fan of.
So, I do not believe that Courtney Love killed.
This whole
Kurt.
thing.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Yeah. I don't even think Kurt's dead.
He's up there with the aliens having a PB and banana sandwich with Elvis.
No, he's not. He's actually alive and making music right now.
Who do you think it is?
Rivers Cuomo from Weezer.
Shut up. Stop it.
Look at them. Look at them together.
No.
Look at them together.
No. Stop it. You know what? I don't want to end the podcast on this. Now we got to go for like another 10 minutes so we can forget this ever happened. Hold on. First I have to look this up. All right.
Kurt Cobain is Rivers Cuomo. It's a thing.
Stop it. What is this? I'm sorry. Hold on a second. By the way, I love Weezer.
Oh, Weezer is one of my top 5 bands easily. Yeah. If not number 2.
I was actually singing lately. I've been singing like Pork and Beans and what's the other one? If you want to destroy my sweater,
whoa, pull this thread as I walk away. As I walk away.
Watch me unravel. I'll soon be naked, lying on the floor. I freaking love that song. But I mean, like I love like In My Garage, and one of my favorites is My Name Is Jonas. God, they're so good.
Okay, so here's why I know that Rivers Cuomo is just a alias for Kurt Cobain.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
In the late 90s, Weezer was well known like for playing like small shows, or they would do nothing but play Nirvana covering only the most obscure of Nirvana songs.
Oh my God. I actually found a picture of... No, that doesn't make sense. Hold on a second. Stop it. Hold on a minute.
Rivers often jams with David Grohl and Chris Novoselic.
I don't believe you. I'm looking at photos of them is what I'm focusing on right now. and I saw a picture of Cobain in 91, and then I looked at a picture of Rivers in 1997, and like Kurt Cobain looks. I mean, they have a similar appearance.
Yeah, Kurt faked committing. Kurt faked committing an hero because he hated his wife so much. And then he just laid low for 3 years.
I'm looking at these photos and like
Weezer often tours with Foo Fighters because of his friend David Grohl.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I'm looking up some photos. I want some damning evidence here. Is there any pictures of him in 91? I have to see this. Because like I've got a really good photo of Cobain in 1991. So if I can get like a picture of him of Rivers in 1991, that would be like perfect.
You don't have pictures of Rivers in 1991 because no one knew who Rivers was in 1991.
Well, I mean, so it looks like one of the earliest photos goes all the way back to 1997. But like when I compare that to like Kurt, they don't look alike at all. Like at all.
Have you seen recent pictures of
They
Rivers?
don't even have the same jawline.
Well, yeah. You don't think he's not going to spend money to do a little bit of plastic surgery to cover that stuff up?
Shut up. Shut your face. Are you kidding?
Like, I mean, he probably messed his mouth up a little bit, deflating a shotgun. He has to reconstruct that a little bit.
It's just the lower half of your face. Like, it's fine, bro. We can take care of that.
It's all reconstructed.
It's like he drives to Mexico with half his face missing.
It's like the ending of Fight Club.
Shut up. Get out of here.
Where you don't do the full like shoot up and straight into the back. You can't shoot off to the side.
You're ridiculous.
You have to jaw a little bit, so you have to get cosmetic surgery done.
I just like have this image of like Kurt Cobain, like
look at pictures. Look at pictures of him now, though. Like now that he's like grew his hair out a little bit.
Like I just don't see it, man. I don't. I'm trying so hard. Like I'm actually trying to like take you seriously, and I can't. Like I have this image of like Kurt Cobain with like the lower half of his face just gone, like just bloodied messy. He's like in a Corvette hauling ass to Mexico so that he can pay like some skeezy plastic surgeon in Mexico to like reconstruct his face so that he can become.
It wasn't a skeezy
Rivers Cuomo.
It wasn't a skeezy plastic surgeon in Mexico. It was a skeezy Hollywood plastic surgeon.
It's just trading a Mexican alleyway for a Californian alleyway. What's the difference?
Same difference. But I mean, he has money. He could buy somebody's silence.
Oh no. Oh man. I don't know. Like, and I feel like they sound so different too. But then again, you're going to tell me because his lower jaw's missing. Clearly, they sound different.
Well, no. Like in Nirvana, Kurt was trying to cultivate the sound. That's why it always sounded like he was gargling Tax.
Okay,
he quit. You stopped trying to sound gruff and grumbly. And you quit smoking. And then all of a sudden,
you sing In My Garage.
Yeah, and then you sound better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what happened.
For sure, man. For sure.
Rivers Cuomo is Kurt Cobain.
Hell yeah, bro. You heard it here.
Kurt still lives. It's why Weezer's so damn good.
Yep. It's on the Imaginary Boys podcast. It's fact now, guys. You all heard it here.
It's been committed here. It is facts.
They look nothing alike, man. Like I'm looking at so many photos here. I'm trying so hard.
I mean, yes, of course they wouldn't look alike.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Like,
You're really like you actually sound like you're sad because I'm doubting you. Like you're like, no, man, but
no,
like
I'm frustrated.
seriously.
I'm frustrated because it's the obvious truth.
Oh my
I'm over here telling you the obvious truth, and you're like,
god.
"Nah, sinner."
And then you're gonna pull out a dollar bill and show me the Illuminati sign and be like, see, this is the proof. It's right here. It's been in front of us the whole time.
No, I'll just show you my basketball again.
No, oh please.
It's right here. See this?
Nope.
It's right here.
Stop manhandling yourself. Stop manhandling yourself during the podcast.
Oh.
Now go and put your pants back on.
No. No, you don't pay me enough for me to wear pants.
Bitch, I don't pay you at all.
Right. Which is why I'm free-balling it.
Free! Oh, God.
That's right, ladies.
Oh my God. Okay, so...
You could look, you just can't touch.
Okay, so in the end...
If you touch, I'll start some drama. And you don't want no drama.
Am I going to get canceled? Are you going to cancel me on Twitter? Is that what you're
No drama. You don't want no drama.
All right. So, what did we get out of this? We got that Smashing Pumpkins is like one of the greatest bands of all time. Pearl Jam is secretly that guy you were saying. What was his name again?
Well, no. Pearl Jam is Pearl Jam. But, you know, people who credit Eddie Vedder for being this amazing lyricist are just talking out of their ass. It's probably Robert Goulet for all you know.
Okay. So basically, Smashing Pumpkins is the greatest band ever. Eddie Vedder is secretly, being ghostwritten by, Goulet. The lead singer Rivers Cuomo from Weezer is actually Kurt Cobain. I am an unforgivable, unintentional hipster.
You're not unforgivable. It's just, I mean, if you're gonna be a hipster, just
Bruh.
shit, dude.
Well, it's because
you're not terrible about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I never want to be that guy that's like, ugh, I was listening to them before they're popular, and now they're popular, like they're the worst band ever. It's like I don't want to be that guy. Like
you stop two pleasantries away from having that knob in your mouth.
Well, because I like it when the bands I like get popular, because then they make more money, and if they make more money, they make more music.
And they validate your opinion.
Huh?
And it validates your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
All love validation.
Yeah. So, like, I love it when the unpopular bands that I like get popular. That's a good thing. Yeah, so...
Have you ever heard of the Pixies?
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on how much I love the Pixies. Holy crap. Are you for real? How did we do this podcast and I didn't start talking about the Pixies? Listen, okay, guys, the Pixies make more than one song. I know this is going to blow your mind, but they make more than one song, okay?
They make two.
Shut up. Like,
but the only one that they'll ever be known for is Where's My Mind?
Where's My Mind, which is not even their best song, by the way.
No, it's complete trash.
Okay. Go and listen to, if you're going to talk about the Pixies, go and listen to the song Hey. That is like the song that made me realize I love the Pixies. Go listen to This Monkey's Gone to Heaven. Go listen to one of the more recent songs they did was Silver Bullet, and that song is amazing. Just go and listen to as much like Pixies music as you possibly can. That band is so amazing. I have no idea how I didn't talk about them during this podcast until just now. Like, I love the Pixies. They're so great, okay? This isn't even a bit. I'm so serious right now. The Pixies are amazing. Fight me.
Man, that was a one-off joke. Like, because a lot of the hipster people I know, like, hey, do you listen to the Pixies?
Dude, the Pixies are the best.
I was like, you do realize they're mainstream because of one song, right?
Which is fine. That's fine. It's fine. But they're so good. The Pixies are so good, man. They do this song, I think it's called Cave, and I always have to sing it every time it comes on. It's so amazing. Oh God, I love them. I
got a quick question for you. We're really running over on time, though. This is a little extra long episode because we missed
the Pixies.
Got a question for you. Your least favorite band of all time? If there was a band that you could just walk up to in their sleep and just punch them all in their private parts, what band would it be?
Well, one that came to mind automatically was the Jonas Brothers. That was like the first thing that popped into my mind right away, because I remember like when they were really popular, and I'm like, is this good? Like, why are they the way that they are? What are they doing? Like, stop it. Stop touching instruments. You're not allowed to touch instruments. Put them down. Stop it. That's like the first thing that comes to my mind.
Okay, the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers are just is just, you know,
they're just the Backstreet Boys.
It's the second coming of Hanson.
There you go.
And, you know, I would have accepted Hanson. For me, it's the Smiths.
I don't know that band.
Are you familiar with the song "How Soon Is Now"?
It doesn't ring any bell.
Okay, so you did not watch Charmed.
No, I've actually never watched Charmed.
Okay, great. The Smiths.
Wait a minute. Is that the song like, I am the sun?
Yes, that's
I am the air. I don't like that song. I don't like it, but I do know it.
Yeah, no, the Smiths. They can eat 3 floppy donkey dicks and Morrissey them in his little ass.
Okay, I don't like that song. I don't know that band, but I have heard that song before, just simply because I've never watched Charmed, but I know that intro because, like, you know, everybody knows the intro.
Everybody knows I am the sun.
Yeah.
On the air.
I always thought they were like, you know, every time I hear that song, I'm like, are these guys like trying to be Depeche Mode? Like, what are you doing?
No, you did it.
What?
Morrissey's trying to be Depeche Mode without all the talent.
Yeah, because Depeche Mode's great.
No, Depeche Mode rocks.
Yeah, but like I hear that song and I'm like, are you guys trying to be Depeche Mode? Is that what you're trying to do? Because it's not a very good job.
I don't want to sound queer or nothing, but I think Depeche Mode is a pretty sweet band.
Dude, they're awesome. Are you kidding me? Like, we're fans of The Cure, for God's sake. Of course we like Depeche Mode. Are you kidding me? If we like The Cure, then obviously we like Depeche Mode.
Oh, that's another band that we just completely skirted.
Oh, we can't. We gotta stop. We
really gotta stop this at this point. Yeah, no. Boink Morrissey and his self-important, obnoxious little poofter.
Okay.
God, I hate that guy so much.
All right.
I just want to kick him in the dick.
Okay. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I'm going to say the last few things before I completely wrap this up, which is like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate it when you do that. Allows you to keep up with us better, whether we're doing podcasts or whether I'm streaming or whether I'm making videos, whatever.
Or I'm kicking Morrissey in the dick.
I'm sure that if for every time you hit the like button, that will obligate Lettuce to kick Morrissey in the dick. So there you go. There's your motivation.
Post it to YouTube because I don't post anything to YouTube.
That's correct, because even though he has a channel, which everybody should be subscribed to, he doesn't make shit. Anyways, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, go into the description below, check out all of the links. All donations are greatly appreciated, whether it's through PayPal or Streamlabs. I love it. It helps the channel, helps us do everything that we need to do, which is super nice. Love to give that wonderful shout out to my amazing Patreon members, which include Bo Falcon, Fajouk Enterprises, James P, Miss Rebecca, as well as the lovely Mr. Scorpa guys. You guys are awesome. You guys giving your wonderful donations on a regular basis keeps the channel alive, and I love every single individual one of you for it. Other than that, follow your dreams. We have been the Imaginary Boys. Now you know all about music, and this is all you'll ever do.